Anyone learning to play an instrument often underestimates how complex the tasks of the fingers are. What is the best way to explain what our fingers do? By taking a look inside a soccer stadium. Surprised? Let's see what the players do on the pitch. In fact, there are 22 players on the pitch and a referee, who should stay out of the way as much as possible, but only one ball. Now for the crucial part. While one player is on the move with the ball, the others do not simply do as they please, but use their freedom to position themselves as well as possible, either to make the opponent's task more difficult or to be playable at the right moment and directly influence the action themselves with the ball at their feet. But our fingers do the same thing when we play an instrument. What the strategically important game without the ball is in soccer, the question in instrumental playing is what fingers do when they are not hitting a key, covering a hole, or pressing down a string. Other parts of the body, arms, back and so on, are not simply passive when playing. In soccer, skillful play without the ball distinguishes good teams from mediocre ones. It's exactly the same in music. Controlling what your fingers do when they seem to be idle is what separates a good player from a mediocre one. The question is how economically this task is carried out. After all, soccer players don't want to limp off the pitch with cramp in their legs before the end of the game. Similarly, muscles and nerves should not be maltreated with unnecessary movements and exertion when playing an instrument. To play without the ball requires planned foresight. In modern neuroscience, this is known as predictive coding. The core idea goes back to the physicist Hermann von Helmholtz, who pre-formulated the basic idea with the concept of unconscious inference. What does he mean by that? The higher centers in the brain interpret visual sensory impressions speculatively, based on expectations of what they might mean. We then actually see things the way we want to see them, even if our interpretation contradicts the actual sensory data. This is proven by optical illusions that we cannot escape, even if we know that we are making a mistake. A classic example is the cylinder on the chessboard. Its shadow makes us see squares A and B in different brightnesses, even though they are exactly the same color. We perceive them differently even if we know that they are actually the same brightness. In the real world, we would be completely lost if we had no idea what might come our way. In fact, we are constantly making assumptions about the course of events. For example, we assume that the laws of physics will not change. This is the only way we can cope with the vast amount of information we need to navigate the world. In another video, we show that, in contrast to painters and writers, we do not depict the world in the form of symbols, but create the world, namely the sounding music, from symbols, the musical text. In contrast to the real world, about whose future course we can know nothing, we are prophets with regard to the music that we create ourselves. We know exactly what is coming because we can look ahead in the musical text. This allows our fingers and the rest of our body to optimally prepare for what is to come. So when we choose fingerings or phrasings, we should always keep in mind where our fingers will be after an entry. Planning hand and finger position always means that we have to find the optimal sequences for mastering a position, but also position fingers and hand in such a way that they are as well positioned as possible for the upcoming task. In soccer, players help themselves with fouls if they have misjudged a situation. If they overdo it, they are sent off the field. If our fingers misjudge a situation in an instrumental game, their type of fouls are cramps. In any case, they are harmful to muscles, nerves, and the skeleton. We should therefore pay attention to what individual fingers, arms, or the back are doing when they appear to be idle. It is not only an important prerequisite for our playing to remain fluid and precise. It also helps to prevent health problems. If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel. At academia-larty.org, you will also find a knowledge database and online courses from our academy. And check out the other videos here on YouTube. Thank you for your interest.